I'm Carrie Brown Buddy with RefinedRun.com. We're going to talk about the level pelvis today and why that's so important to runners. So first of all, you can take your hands right over the outside of the top of your hip bones here, and that tells us where our pelvis is. Our pelvis is this whole area right through here. Now, if we take our hands here, what you can do is when you stand on one leg, try to keep those hands level. Sometimes you'll see yourself do this, or rotate in, or any sort of movement away from this level area between your hands. So this is what we want to refer to as the level pelvis. So this is from the front, keeping those hands stable, and then also from the back. So not arching too much at the low back or flattening out too much. So it's going to be right in the middle there. A nice soft curve at your low back, and then flat tummy here. So you're going to pull that in. That is part of our level pelvis position. The reason why the level pelvis is so important to runners is that we're always on one leg. You're always bounding from one leg to the next. We're almost controlling this hopping motion. So every time you land on one foot, we need this pelvis to stay level. So when you land on that leg, if you start to have a little bit of a drop this way, rotation here, or you have too much arching at the back or tucking, you lose power in these muscles and you have a lot more force and stress all the way up the chain. You're going to have a lot more injuries at the foot, the knee, the hip, the back, the trunk, everywhere in your body if your pelvis isn't level. Also, you're going to perform a lot better and be faster and more efficient when you run, so it's less work for you when you run if your pelvis is staying level the whole time that you run. You of course want to make sure that you're level on each side when you land on each side. And one of the major exercises that is important for runners to keep this level pelvis is the side plank. So not only that front plank that we've been doing, but then also the side plank. Let me just show you that. So that side plank position, you're on the outside of your foot and then a straight line up to your elbow. Elbow is directly underneath that shoulder, and then you're keeping everything level here. Stacked hips, stacked feet, stacked shoulders, so you're not rotating. The reason why this position is so important and awesome for runners to keep that level pelvis is because we're working more than just the core here. We're working the core, the gluteus medius, the muscles around the outside of the hip, the lower area of the core, almost that pelvic floor muscles, outside of the thigh, and of course shoulder, trunk, all those muscles that work together to keep you with a nice stable posture when you're running. So not only is the outside of the hip important to keep that level pelvis, but also the outside of the hip and how that works with our core muscles here. So that's why the best exercise you can start doing for your running form and keeping that level pelvis is the side plank.